All right, Rock Addicts, DJ REM, live on the air with Gene McEwen from the band Edge of Paradise. How are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, it was awesome a while back. I got to talk to Margarita, and I think maybe somebody else was with her. I can't remember. It's been a while back now. But, you know, and kind of finally got to learn about the band Edge of Paradise and what's going on. And so how's things been going with the album, and just you guys keeping busy?
Actually, we are. We're keeping very busy, and that other person that you spoke with was probably Dave Bates, the guitar player.
Yes, Dave.
And
right.
Yes, and I know it's so easy to forget when you're talking to Margarita. You know, everyone else just disappears. But yeah, we've been keeping busy. We've been doing photos. We've actually got a new photo shoot coming up, hopefully within the next week or two, with Kevin Estrada. Real great photographer. Has worked with a lot of great bands, Avenged Sevenfold, Ozzy, Billy Idol, you name it. We recently recorded a new single between January and March of this year called In a Dream, which you can catch a little snippet of from many places on the web, from our website, as well as the Facebook page and YouTube fan page and whatnot. And we actually just got started laying down a new tribute track for a Motley Crue tribute that's coming out next month. We were asked to contribute a track for this tribute album, and I just laid down the drums last weekend, and the rest of the crew will be doing it over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and that'll come out. Hopefully, you know, people will like that.
Well, that's cool.
We also just got asked to, from the same record label, to contribute a track to a Metallica tribute album that's coming out, I think, at the end of this year, which is going to be a lot of fun to do. We actually are going to do the first track off of Injustice for All, called Blackened.
Yes, one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, that's one that you know, I had my eye on, and Dave and Margarita were all on board for that, and I think that's going to give us all a lot of an opportunity to really kind of tear it up and really kick it up a notch and have fun with it. So that's going to be fun, and looking forward to that. Hopefully our fans will appreciate that as well. You know, so that's kind of the stuff that's been going on recently. I know that there's been a lot of talk about trying to get out there and do some shows, and we've had tour offers and whatnot, but nothing has really kind of clicked with us that's really going to work for us as a band to kind of get out there. So we're kind of trying to pick and choose our spots so that you know, we get out there and, you know, make a really good push of this. So I think for this year, we're going to kind of focus on maybe writing a few more new songs, and then maybe next year, I think we're looking at trying to do a full-blown tour, you know, after getting some new stuff done. So this way we really have something to present to people with the new direction, because you do have the first CD, Mask, which is a great CD, and but now with the new writing that we're doing with a couple of the new members, myself included, and the other member, Kurt Schaefer on bass, you know, the writing has sort of progressed, and it's a bit different sounding from the first CD, but I think, you know, so far the feedback has been really well. So we just want to kind of get a few more songs under our belt to kind of show people that this is going to be huge and it's going to be great. So that's what we got going on right now.
All right, that's cool. I look forward to that, man. So this new single, is it out, or is it almost out? I mean, when is it going to be available? When am I going to be able to play it on my radio show, I guess, is my real question.
I wish I had the definitive answer for that, but I mean, if it was up to me, I'd say right now. But unfortunately, it's not just up to me. We have to, think about this in the big picture. But I think what we've been talking about doing is actually also shooting a video for this new single as well. So
Nice.
It'll probably actually come out in a video before even just the song comes out. Because we have been talking to some people that shoot the videos, and we've had some really creative people that do really artistic type things. We have some other people that are just full blown, big scale. Want to do like a Transformers Part 3 type of video. But I think we're probably going to go for the more artistic thing. But hopefully, I mean, I'm really hoping that we can kind of leak that thing out sooner than later, especially because I think we are trying to do maybe another 3 new songs before the end of the year and try and get an EP together that we're going to present to some new record labels, and also hopefully to appease the fans that want to hear some new stuff and hear sort of the new sound and vibe that we have going on with the new members of the band being a full-blown band and family. Because it's actually, we got a really good thing going on with myself and Kurt on bass joining Margarita and Dave, where we have a good camaraderie going on, and we get along. It's like a family, and we all, I think, have the same goal in mind, which is just to write really great songs with really great hooks that just groove like it's nobody's business, and just launch from there. So so to answer your actual question, which is when can I play this song on my radio station? Like I said, if it's up to me, sooner than later. So I'll talk to Dave and Margarita and see if I can't convince them to let us leak this thing. And if it gets leaked, I'll deny it.
Right, exactly.
So get an email from me with an MP3 attached.
Yep, that's all good, man. So with this lineup now, and you guys, it sounds like obviously things are working well. Who's doing most of the writing right now?
Most of the writing happens with Dave and Margarita. They, get in our studio, in our little lockout, and they work out the majority of the riffs, the songs, the progression, and then Dave and myself usually fine tune it. We get in there and once we kind of hear the foundation of the song and the direction of the song, we add our 2 cents as it is, and basically maybe work on transitions or just dynamics, things like that, and really kind of just fine tune that last 15% of the song. So Dave and Margarita, Dave is just an amazing guitar player and amazing songwriter who's open to suggestions and things like that, which is great to work with. And Margarita as well. And she's really laid back and just mega talented, because besides her singing, I mean, I'm not sure if a lot of people know that she's just a wickedly talented piano player as well.
Yeah, I didn't know. And she acts too, doesn't she?
She does do that as well, yeah. And which I haven't been privileged yet to witness, but hopefully one of these days I'll see some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I got people in the chat. I've had 2 people tell me that they want to hear. Hell yeah, get that song out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mike in the chat also said, come to the East Coast. He wants to see you. So.
Yeah, and you know what? We want to get on the road. I mean, especially back east. I mean, I'm originally from back east. I'm from New York. I'm out here in California now, but I grew up in New York, and I love the East Coast, and can't wait to get back there and play. And and everywhere in between.
Right.
But like I said earlier, we're just really trying to find the right tour that we will gel with whoever the headlining act is, because we've been offered many different tours, and some of them just don't make any sense at all. It's like, okay, our band just really doesn't fit with that band, so it probably wouldn't be in our best interest to do that. And then there's some others that, were pretty good, but the timing wasn't right. So it's just a matter of finding the right one, and we still are getting offers coming in on a monthly basis. So it's just a matter of time. I mean, we will be there. We will get around, and hopefully we will, get to the places that people really want to see us, and we want to get to the East Coast for sure.
Right. Well, and I'll keep an eye. I try to keep an eye on all the different bands I interview, and when I see things happening, I'll be sure to share that with the listeners and Facebook and all that stuff. So I'll help push and promote as well. Well,
we definitely appreciate that, because the music business is mostly a word of mouth business.
Exactly.
It's you hear something great and you tell your buddy about it and you say, hey, check this out. This is awesome, and and then it just spreads from there, and and then guys like you who are kind enough to have people like us on, it really helps. Because the music business is not what it used to be, 15, 20 years ago. So you really need that kind of in a sense self-promotion and word-of-mouth promotion.
Yeah, I remember growing up, when someone would introduce me to a new band, it was probably on a tape they had made a copy of, It's almost back to that same way of getting it out there.
Yeah, that's the way it's done nowadays, and which is great, because like you said, I mean, it's kind of been done that way all the time, but at least back in the day, record labels had the budget and the motivation to really push bands.
Right.
They just don't have that nowadays, which is unfortunate. But thankfully there are other ways like the internet and word of mouth. And now they have like festivals, weekend-long festivals and stuff like that, where you can at least get out into a town or city somewhere and kind of expose your band and what you're bringing to the table, to certain places, whether it's here in the United States or over in Europe.
Yeah, a couple of our DJs are doing, it's called Brutal Fest, and it's in Alabama, and they're actually, when I get done with the interview, they're going to be going live on air and having their bands playing live on air. So there's an example of like a weekend-long festival with a ton of bands.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I love those, weekend festivals, whether they're just a one-nighter or a two-nighter. They're really great, just because it's actually really convenient for the fans, because they can come and hopefully see 2, 3, or more bands that they like, for one ticket price.
Right.
And and just get out there and you get to meet all these people, interact with them. That was one of the things. My exposure to it was over in Europe. Whenever I was doing festivals over in Europe, they really know how to do it over there, and I just always enjoyed that type of format. And then they started doing it here with like the Rocklahomas and stuff like that, the bigger ones. But they're starting to grow, and hopefully they'll really pick up, and people will latch on to that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny you mentioned Rocklahoma, because Renee, one of the owners of Rock Addict Radio, was actually at Rocklahoma in the press booth interviewing bands and stuff. So
yeah, I mean that's
the
great thing, and it's sort of in certain cases, with certain bands and whatnot, and certain fan bases, that's sort of the only venue that you're going to see some bands that you might have liked, maybe from the 80s or 90s, because they're not doing full-blown tours anymore.
Right.
So, you're going to go see them and a couple other bands like them. But then, for the newer acts like ourselves and, the new rock, new metal, whatever you want to say it. But, they're out there doing it too. I mean, you have, like Jägermeister, they sponsor a tour, and Monster, they sponsor tours and stuff like that. So, with some of the newer acts. So It's really just a great weekend, you know. I mean, as long as it doesn't turn into like one of those, Woodstocks of, 1999 or whatever that was, where people just lose their mind.
Right. So, first, I want to totally thank you for giving me an update on what's going on with Edge of Paradise. I totally appreciate that. And, back when I talked to Margarita and Dave, they were talking a little bit about you and, this kick-ass drummer with a lot of history. So now I'd like to kind of switch interview over to talk about you, and just because I honestly really don't know a lot about you, so I'm kind of hoping you can fill me in.
All right. Well, going back to basically, I'd say my main introduction into the music world on a big scale happened back in 1991 with a band called Armed Forces. They were based in Southern California and signed to Bizarre Straight Records, which was actually a record label that Frank Zappa started.
Nice.
And, we basically just jumped out of the gate. It was basically kind of like a power metal or kind of classic metal type band. And, we had a lot of success with that on radio and global. The record sold well around the world. But unfortunately what happened is right after we did our second CD, our singer, Mike Henry, who was just an amazing guy, amazing singer, he was battling cancer for a lot of his life.
Damn.
Really, even before I joined the band. I think he had three surgeries for throat cancer. And, eventually after the second CD, cancer really kind of, took him down. And unfortunately he passed away from that. And it's really a drag, as a major understatement. But,
right, exactly.
But that band, in my mind and a lot of people's minds, would have held up to this day through all the music genre changes, because we were that kind of straight ahead, kind of power metal or classic metal type band. So that was my first introduction into, the music world. From there, I've played with a few different bands of varying success. One in particular that has sort of a connection to Edge of Paradise is a band called Project Steiger, which is a progressive instrumental band. And they actually had a CD ready to come out when I joined them, and they had guys on there like Virgil Donati playing drums, Derek Sherinian playing keyboards, who plays like with Dream Theater and Alice Cooper, Kiss, you name it.
Dang.
And Tony Franklin on bass. Well, Tony Franklin actually played bass on most of the Edge of Paradise CD, Mass. And that guy's just a monster on bass. And that was a really fun experience just for me on a personal level. It wasn't like a huge success, but just playing that music, because I wound up recording 2 songs on that CD, plus having to play Virgil Donati's drum parts, which were a huge challenge, but fun to take on, and it's a lot of fun to play. And then I've another band that, pretty popular, mainly like in Europe and stuff like that, a band called Steel Prophet, power metal band. It's got like 7 or 8 CDs out there. Just good straight ahead power metal. Played some festivals over in Europe. And then another band that I've played in is a band called Takara. They're like a progressive kind of melodic rock band. Just Scott Soto sang on the first 3 CDs. He's sang with Yngwie Malmsteen and Journey. And I think currently he's actually doing like a Queen thing right now, like a Queen tribute or something like that. That's touring. But that's really a lot of fun to play that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you've been around some pretty cool dudes.
Yeah, I've been pretty blessed with all that. And growing up in Long Island, New York, I actually was fortunate enough to study for a year with Rod Morgenstein, who probably most people would know him from being the drummer of Winger. But he, before that, He's well known in the music circles with Steve Morris and the Dixie Dregs, just for being a phenomenal drummer. Voted into the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame a long time ago, but just a really awesome guy. So, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say I've been around, and then I've done some studio stuff, hired to play like on different things, everything from country to what else, like alt rock, folk rock, you name it. It's just fun. I just love music, so it's always a pleasure just to be able to do it.
Right, exactly. That's what a true artist will tell me, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to tell you, your cousin Patricia is in the chat, and she wants to say hi to you.
Well, yes, my cousin Patricia, love her dearly, and she is a very good supporter of me. Yeah, I get many kind text messages and notes from her.
She says, I used to babysit Gene and his brother on Long Island.
Yes, she did. She reminds me of that all the time.
Of course.
Make sure to keep me in check. Make sure my head doesn't get too big.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I get great support from my family and a lot of support from my friends, which, it's all about. And, of course, which is great because, again, they all keep you in check. Make sure that your bridges don't get too big. So, yeah, I'm just totally fortunate to be able to do what I do and to be able to travel the world and do this. I mean, I've seen so many great places, touring in places like Sweden, Germany, Japan. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's got to be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm speechless, man.
Well,
no, it's just very.
Too.
It's just very cool. I just it's not very often. I mean, I talk to a lot of bands and a lot of cool people. It's not very often I get to talk to somebody that's actually had the experiences that you have had, and I'm sure you still will have to come. So.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to the opportunities that lay ahead of us, and I think that with Edge of Paradise that we're going to have so many opportunities because I know that everyone in this band is very hungry to go for it.
Right.
Kind of make it simple, and we definitely have a passion for what we do and what we write. So I know for myself, when I play, every note I have a passion for every note that I play, and I really like to translate that to the audience because for me, personally, when I can see people smiling out in the audience, then I'm smiling.
Right.
And that's what it really comes down to.
That's something I always ask when I do interviews, because I'm not a musician, I can't play or sing anything, and that's got to be an amazing feeling when you're playing a song, and you're in your rhythm and got your groove going, and the crowd is just like totally into it. I mean, the energy that you get to feed off, it's just got to be like the most amazing thing.
It really is, and sometimes it catches you off guard because you think you're having an off night, or you think that everything's going wrong, because as musicians and maybe being perfection artists, you're up there saying, "Oh, I missed a note," or I didn't do this just right, or the sound isn't just right tonight. But usually we're overcritical. But you look out there and you see people having a good time, and then it just changes all that.
Right.
And then you just say, you know what, I just need to enjoy this and have fun. And that's what it's all about. I mean, just having a good time and hopefully translating that throughout the entire venue. And I totally just love that aspect of it. Is being able to hopefully translate that throughout the venue to where everyone's going to have a good time.
Yep, very cool. That says it all right there, doesn't it?
It does to me. I mean, because you know what? I mean, and I'm a fan too. I mean, I've been playing for most of my life, and one of the things, I can go see a band where every musician in the band is technically amazing, and they're doing their thing, and not be completely blown away. And I can go out there and see a really simple, straight-ahead rock band, and just get totally into that, concert and enjoy myself like it's nobody's business, especially for myself. If I see the guys and/or girls on the stage interacting, having fun, up there enjoying themselves, that really translates to me out in the audience. And that's what really kind of gets my motor revving. And I think, you know what, they're having a good time. Look at them have a good time. I'm having a good time too, And maybe, I don't know if that's because I know what it's like to be up there.
Right.
I'm not sure. But that really does translate to me, because I know, you see some people out there and they're just they're playing their part, but not really translating it out across the venue,
Yep.
And so for me, I really like to see bands who interact and have fun, smile, even laugh. It's like, hey, especially if, when a band does mess up, and it happens often.
Right.
I can't say enough times how, it happens to me, and, you just can't let it get you down. But, you laugh it off and just say, hey, it comes and it goes, and you move on to the next section of the song or the next song or whatever, But I love live music. Live music is, what really keeps, the music business going, really.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, especially in today. I mean, it's about the only place you're going to make any money. The only place you're going to sell CDs. I mean, in any number or merchandise, really.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, even with the internet, and there's so many outlets on the internet, just like your show. But in one case, you can kind of say, well, I can only take so much of that. I got to see it live.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Because I can listen to my CDs all day long, but at some point, it's just not enough. Because there's such a different energy when you get into a room, or whether it's big or small, and you feel that bass thumping your chest, and you see other people, bopping up and down or whatever, and the room just starts shaking. That's really what gets you going. I mean, here's an example. I don't know what people think of it, but I have a friend. He plays drums for Enrique Iglesias. Now, I was never an Enrique Iglesias fan, but one time he was here in LA, and I went to a show, and I was standing on the side of the stage through the whole show. And just seeing the energy of the entire venue, the entire crowd was going nuts 10 minutes before the band even started. And then they were going nuts through the whole show. The band was putting on a great show. I actually walked away from that going, that was an amazing show.
Right.
And it's just that live vibe that you get, like you might walk into something saying, I don't think I'd really like this. And then you walk away just going, wow, I want some more of that. And, hopefully that's something that Edge of Paradise can really put out there as a great live show. And I think we have the elements to do that.
Yeah, and like I said, and the listeners are hammering about it. They're like, they want to see you live. So I think I'll agree with you. Yeah,
and hopefully we'll be able to do that for everyone that's asking for it as soon as possible. Like I said, we're trying to pick and choose our spots, but also when we come out there, Mask has been out there for over a year now, and so when we do come out there, we want to have some new material to be able to present.
Right.
And so when we do it, I think everyone's going to be pleased. So hopefully everyone can hang in there with us and know that we're really putting things together and trying to build so that there's a lot to offer.
Yeah, and they'll hang around, and I'm gonna keep playing you guys so they don't forget.
Well, we definitely appreciate that. I mean, it's people just like you that basically help us and bands like us, get out there and connect with people, because really the only way that you can get true fans today is to connect on a smaller level. You don't want to be out there just waving from the stage. You want to get out there and talk to people. I mean, that's at least my opinion. Is you get out there, talk to people, answer questions, or just sit down and have a drink and say, how's your weekend going?
Right. Exactly. People like that little personal touch, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, we're regular people too. We do what we do, but we pay bills and we have problems too. So I mean that's one of the things I love to do when I go anywhere, whether it's playing a festival or doing a tour, is I love to hang out with the locals, because to me that's what it's all about. I want to know what's going on in your world. What's it like here, in where you live.
And
that I've always found just a lot of satisfaction with that.
Yeah, and you've been fortunate enough to visit a lot of places, so I mean that's got to be amazing. Just to just to think of the different cultures and things you've experienced. That's got to be cool.
Absolutely, and people, you get surprised sometimes. Sometimes not, but when you meet certain people and they're just so down to earth, and you have some that treat you as the quote unquote rock star, and you have others who are just like, hey, you're just a regular Joe, and let's hang out and have a drink. And I mean, when I was in Germany most recently, hanging out there after the day after a festival and hanging out with this guy, and my German's not very good, but thankfully this guy spoke enough English to kind of help me out throughout the night. And his mom comes in. It turned out it was his birthday, and his mom comes in with all his homemade food and appetizers, and like, dig in, join, eat this, eat that. He was my translator throughout the night, and he wanted to tell me, he's like, oh yeah, anytime you come through Germany, just let me know. You spend the night at my house, spend the night at my mom's house. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll take you up on it. I mean, just really, just genuinely nice people. It's just so nice to kind of get out there and see that and meet that.
Yeah, and and I get that sense when I talk to different bands. Just the whole metal community just seems to kind of be in touch with each other. I mean, I've had bands in Brazil offer the same thing to me. That they're like, "You ever come to Brazil? Let us know. You can stay at our house."
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head there too when you said the metal community, because I've noticed that so much more in the metal community than in other, when I've been playing with other types of genres. The metal community is very close and very open to each other. Yeah, so you're definitely right about that.
So, okay, man. Well, we've went way over the time we talked about, so my apologies there, but
no worries.
It's been a killer great time. I've totally appreciated it. I know the chat's full of people, and they're digging, and all the listeners out there are digging this interview. So, once again, I just thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I do have one last thing to ask you to do for me before I let you go, though.
Sure.
So if you wouldn't mind making a couple radio tags.
Oh, absolutely.
So one for my show, and then one generic for the station that I can send to the DJs, so that when they play their music, they can play your little tag before they throw them in.
All right, sounds good. Well, hey, I totally appreciate the fact, Spencer, that you had me on, and also had Margarita and Dave on. I mean, we're very thankful, for you and people like you that give us this outlet to do what we do. So we're very thankful to you.
Yeah, it's not a problem, man. I find bands that I like. It's real simple. I do this as a hobby. This isn't, I don't get paid. This is just something I do for the love of music. And when I find bands I like, it's like, if I can do something, even if I only turn 2 more listeners onto you, I figure that's 2 more people listening to you that would have been. So that's all it's about for me.
Exactly, and that's the same kind of attitude we have. Whether it's 1 or 2, that's great.
So, okay, you ready for the tags?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the first one, you can just say, this is Gene from the Edge of Paradise, and you're listening to rockaddictradio.com.
All right, give me the cue.
Go.
This is Gene McEwen, drummer from Edge of Paradise, and you're listening to Rock Addict Radio.
Perfect. And then the second one, say the same thing, except for add that you're listening to DJ REM at Rock Addict Radio.
Okay.
And go.
This is Gene McEwen, drummer for Edge of Paradise, and you're listening to DJ REM from Rock Addict Radio.
Perfect, man. Once again, I just thank you so much for taking the time, and I'll just keep following to see what's going on, and I look forward to that song that's going to accidentally end up in my email.
Absolutely, brother, and yeah, definitely, keep tabs on our many websites.
Yep.
Because we do have a lot of stuff in the works, so hopefully we'll keep you all baited and hooked throughout the year.
Okay, man, sounds great.
All right, thanks, man. You have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
All right, bye.
Oh, hey, you still there?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Tell the rest of the band I said hello, please, when you see them next.
Absolutely, I will do that.
All right, thanks, man.
All right.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.